How you guys doing today? It's Meat Cutting Creations. We're going live tonight, but I have my buddy Hubert here taking some film too, so we're going to put up two videos. We're going to put up a video with him actually getting in there so you can see a little more of the cuts. We're using our laptop to get the screenshot for the live. But you know, Easter's coming. A lot of people like lamb. A lot of people scared of lamb. So I'm going to make my signature lamb mace today. It's got a 7-pounder. It's a big boy, so I'll probably take the top run out. But you know, once I get it boneless, we'll see what goes on. So thanks for joining us, and we'll get to some cutting. This is a lamb leg, a traditional Easter fare. You know, I want to wish everybody a happy Passover and a happy Easter. It's very easy to do. So let's get started. Here's your shank and here's your femur bone. As you see, it goes right through here. We're going to take off just a little bit of this fat here. You really don't have to take fat off on the top half because you're going to want this fat, because this fat is going to make this delicious, because we're actually going to thin this out and roll it around the bone. So it's actually going to be a little more well done. You know, I usually make my lamb very rare. But this is something that's well done. You keep the fat and it makes it very tasty. So it's a good Easter fare for your Easter Sunday. You hold your knife like this. I like to start on this end. Just kind of slice down and get right underneath that bone there. Okay, yeah, my cutting board's sliding. And you come right down like this. And then we're going to follow this bone right here, come straight to the femur bone. Let's try this. That might help a little bit, right? I think so. So we're going to come right down this bone. When you get here to the femur bone, you're going to turn, and you can come right around, all right? You get down, try to start to work it around the bone a little bit. Then you come on the top half here, the top half of the bone, and you work it around. You got a lot of fat and a lot of sinew here, so you just kind of get in there underneath and get that out of there. You don't really need that. We're going to go ahead and throw that in our trim bucket. Work around the shank here, because the shank actually gets fatter. It's thin and it comes fat, okay? Switch back, come underneath. Slice. Go ahead and get under that bone. Now we're going to free this bone. We're freeing the shank. This is, there's a lot of sinew and a lot of meat. You just kind of try to get as close as you can to it, okay? Come around. Now I learned this actually from a butcher at Whole Foods. We're going to slice and then just kind of take a little trim off. Just kind of push it in over there. Get underneath that bone. This way you don't lose as much meat. If you were just doing this real fast, and you were doing a bunch of them, you're not going to hold your knife like this. But this actually helps you get a little bit closer and not waste. So this is your bone. We're actually going to wrap that around. We're going to wrap the meat around that. So any meat that you do have left on here is okay, because that's still going to be in there. You're going to have this little bone here. You're going to take that off. Now you have your eye round, you have your top round, you have your bottom round underneath, and you have your sirloin tip over here. Okay, and then this is your shank. I'm actually going to take the top round off. This is your top round. You kind of just peel it through and you just follow the seam. This is a 7-pounder. If it was a 5-pounder, you'd actually be leaving this on because you're going to need that meat. But on a 7-pounder, you're not going to need it, so I'm going to show you what to do with this beautiful top round. You have this flat piece here, okay? The beautiful thing about this is all this sinew and stuff here in the shank, if you cook it slow enough, it's all going to melt around. So now I am going to switch knives, and I don't have any paper towels, so I use them for my cutting board. I'm going to go ahead and switch knives now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, all right? You just kind of butterfly it here. You take off any real, sinewy pieces, okay? You see how that's coming flat? Open that up. And then this is your eye round and your bottom round. You slice it in there, and now you have a flat piece of meat here, okay? This flat piece of meat is what we're gonna roll. Just gonna take that off. This is going to our trim. Before you do that, you're gonna wanna check this side. All this fat can really pretty much stay on. See, that's a little bit fatter. We're gonna open this up just a little bit more. Okay? Now we're ready to roll. You have the pieces and sides over here that have meat. You're gonna roll them first because you don't want your fat you want your fat on the outside to drip in. You don't want a bunch of fat rolled up in the inside. So, go ahead and take a little bit off. Go ahead and put it in your trim bucket, it's fine. Ready to roll. This is actually a good time to clean your bone up. Just put your knife in there and scrape all this stuff off. Sometimes you just get under here. Easier said than done. And you scrape that off. When you put it in the oven, you're actually going to put foil over this bone because you don't want the bone to burn. Okay, that's going to really smoke up pretty heavy, and you don't want that. That's pretty good. Good enough. So we roll from this end, and we roll over, okay? And then we marry this end in. So now you have your bone out this end here. Clean that up a little bit. And a piece of meat. This is how it's going to look on this side. You see, I'm rolling it through. Roll this through. Sometimes you can just fold it in. That's going to look a lot nicer. Get it to where it looks nice, okay? Dry up my hands. Now it's time to tie. Just slide it underneath. Go ahead and get one right in the middle. In another video, I'll show you guys how to tie properly. This is where you're really going to form it. This is how when you're going to get your shape and make it start to look real nice. Then I go about an inch and a half. Just kind of where the end of your top round was, all right? Go ahead and tie it. You see now how it's starting to look like a mace? It didn't look like that when we were done rolling. but now it does. Go back all the way to this end, and another inch and a half. Yep. I always do that at least once if I'm not in the zone. If you pull it too quickly, it will tighten up on you, and then it's no good. Won't have that problem in non-live videos, right, Hubert? Kind of hold it, bring it in. Now you got a nice tie there. Starting to look good. And I think we're going to get one more on this end here. You want to make sure it's around this bone, okay? Not too far to the end because it will slide right off. Lamb is very greasy. Do that second tie. I learned from a guy that was so quick at this, like he would be done in about 30 seconds. I used to be a little quicker. Now here you go. You see that? It's all folded in. You got a decent amount of little fat here. You do have a little end over here. If you want, you can tie that in. No real reason. When you're actually cooking this, you're gonna foil this up. You're gonna season. If you don't want that lamby smell, I suggest just rubbing it in some lemon juice, okay? Salt, pepper, all you really need. You could have put garlic inside if you wanted to. I don't do that. Salt, pepper, lemon. You know, you can also use buttermilk milk too. Do the lemon about an hour before you put it in the oven. Salt and pepper it. Throw it in the oven. This piece, after taking the little bit of trim I have off, and that top round is probably about 5 pounds with the bone. So you're gonna go roughly about 15 minutes for each pound. Okay, so that's a hour 15 minutes. The first 15 minutes, I put it up to about 425. Not covered. You want to get this fat starting to melt down. You want to get it start to break down. You want to get a nice crust on the outside because that's actually going to seal things in. And then you're going to drop it down to 300, okay, or 325. This guy's on the bigger side. I'm going to say just do the 300. Go the rest of the hour, an hour 15 minutes. You have a beautiful, delicious main course for your Easter dinner. Obviously, you can also use this for your Passover. But I've had many Passovers, and I mean the big thing is that eggplant with the garlic. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. But this is a traditional leg of lamb mace for your Easter dinner. Now, if you give me a second, I'm going to show you what to do with that piece of top round I took off. Now, if you go to the store, around this time, you can get a 7-pound leg for 30 bucks. But the rest of the year it's going to be about 40, 45 bucks. So if you just buy a 5-pounder for your Sunday dinner, other parts of the year, you're going to, for about 30 bucks, you get a you're going to get a 5-pounder, and you'd leave this in there when you rolled it up, okay? But now what we're going to do is we're just going to clean this up a little bit, and we're going to make some steaks. We're going to make some steaks out of this. All that trim I'm putting in there, that's great for lamb sausage, okay? You can also grind that down, and you can make kofta, which is a Middle Eastern fare, and Mediterranean fare. Or in Europe it's called kebabchichi. It's Serbian, but it's basically a Serbian kind of kofta. What makes it very different is that you're going to add ground pork to it, which obviously you're not going to do in the majority of Middle East countries. At least not anymore. Now, you have this flap here. You can leave the flap on if you want, but I take it off, and I'm just going to use that for my kofta, okay? You also have this flap on your, all mammals are the same, so this flap's going to be on all your top rounds, whether it's beef or part of your ham. Okay, you can just grind it. You can actually, you know what, since I got you here, you can just open this up, you know, take this fat off, and this you can cut as a steak as well. This is what they call, this is a sirloin flap, but it really comes from the top round. And you can cook this like a steak too, okay? It's just a nice thin little steak. You can also make it for stir fry and things of that nature, but I'm going to use it for my trim. Now here's your top round, okay? That's cleaned up enough. You don't have to clean it up too much, all right? You come from this end and you just slice like that. Here you go. There's a steak. Beautiful top round lamb steaks, very lean, very tasty. This is also the piece that you'd use to make kebabs. You know, a lot of times I'll take the top round and I'll make kebab meat out of it. I'll take the shank stuff off and I'll grind the shank meat for my kofta, and I'll take the bottom round and I'll take the sirloin tip off, and then leave the bottom round and the eye round together, which is called a gooseneck. I'll leave that together and I will butterfly that and make it flat, and you do it on the grill. So you make this flat piece from your bottom round and your sirloin tip, 2 pieces, flat on the grill. Use the rest of your trim and your shank for your kofta, and then you have all this gorgeous, delicious top round meat that's very lean, and this is the perfect thing for your shish kebab. And also it's, you know, these are delicious steaks. For this, you know, a little lemon on it, a little bit of salt. Do not put the pepper on until after you're done grilling, because that pepper is going to get real bitter, and this is a mellow meat. This is an Australian lamb, so it's not quite as mellow as the American after you you know, use your lemon, but it's a mellow meat. You do not want to get your pepper bitter. So I really appreciate everybody who has joined me today, and which I see is nobody. Excellent. But that's all right, because this video is going to go up, and also another video with some other camera work, so you can see some different angles of how I cut this leg of lamb. And you know, I'm going to put the link up for Lodestar Children's Services. It's out of Long Island. Very good people. They do very good work. You know, they help children with psychiatric issues and disabilities, and very good and reputable charity. So if you can give to them, I'll put the link down below. Also, I'll put a link to some of our other videos. I hope you like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time on Meat Cutting Creations. Next month, meet Hex Fuego Lubinger, guitarist for Shinebox, singer guitarist for Loco and its Passion Sound, Boxcar Hex, and the Roy River Banks. Only here on the 502 channel.